Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you are listening to this. This is Coffee with Kevin. And again, this is my coffee. I got a cute little mug here. It's actually not the mug I should have had this morning. This is friends. My wife and her cousin are very, very, very good friends. Matter of fact, yeah, a shout out, not a shootout, to Angela Gagnon and her husband to putting up with us for almost 2 weeks, letting us stay with them while we're here visiting in Massachusetts. Oh, yes, Angela and Skip have been incredible. Yes, and that is why my wife and Angela, her cousin, are really, really close friends. And we've been close friends with them forever. Yes, I'm still in Massachusetts. This is Coffee with Kevin. I'll go back to this. I introduced you to my coffee, mm, a breakfast blend this morning. And I hope you have a nice hot cup of coffee, hot cup of cocoa or tea or whatever it is, maybe a smoothie, maybe a juice. Here's to you today. Mm, I love coffee with Kevin because I love coffee. It is so cool to have, so great to have in the morning, especially. But I have some in the evening. I go with decaf though. I go with decaf. I'll confess. Again, it's oh my goodness, it's August 11th. August 11th. 2 more days. It's our anniversary. My wonderful, beautiful wife and I, our anniversary. Um, 44 years. Oh my goodness, 44 years ago, and 2 days from now, we were getting ready to go out to the church and get married. I have to confess, I worked that day. It was a Friday. I was getting my certificate for a week long, week long class, and I said I'll go in. It'll be the morning, and I get out in the afternoon, and I get a phone call right away. Oh, the flowers didn't come, or the right flowers didn't come in. Can you go to the flower shop? Do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Oh my, the ushers are missing. Where are they? Can you find them? It was a fun day. No, it was absolutely a fun day. It rained, but we actually had a rainbow when we went to our reception, and it was over the lake, and it was just so beautiful. We started our Friday the 13th wedding, our lives together, with a blessing of the rainbow, and a blessing of all of our friends being there, and such a wonderful, wonderful wedding. I have to thank my my in-laws, my mother and father-in-law, who have passed since then. Um, and they did a wonderful job putting this together. And it was just, I'm blessed. You know, I've been saying that a lot lately. So, what's going on? I talked about, being balanced and staying on top, or as the start of this, and going into this conference. I had 4 trainings I was going to be involved in. One was the first day of the conference last Thursday. It was a full day training. I hadn't known how many people were going to be in it. I knew earlier in the week there was only 2 registered, um, but 2 or 1 or whatever it is, I give myself to the training, and it's my program that I built, a protocol that I've created. I hadn't trained. It's been over a year since I've done a training class. I did a one-on-one earlier, but uh, you know, I had to prepare still. I had to be on it, and I love that program. And we had ended up having 4 people. One was a last minute, believe it or not. I had talked to the guy the day before, or I had talked to the guy in the morning, told him what I was doing. He's someone I met the year before, and he came in and he told me at the end of the class he is so glad he came in at the last minute, paid for it, and decided to. It was worth it, when he decided to come in, and he afterwards said it was well worth it. So it was wonderful. I was on top. And I had another class the very beginning of the morning. I was doing with a good friend of mine, Chris Adshade, and we have fun. We teach people to work with other hypnotherapists, hypnotists, the way what we are and what Chris and I have done over the years. It's just we're wild and crazy guys. Yes, we are. And so it was just an incredible thing to go ahead and do this with him. So we had a 2-hour class, and we're sitting in this big classroom. It was it could have held maybe 100 or more people. One showed up. One showed up. We were looking forward to have fun and had a lot of things planned, and one person showed up. So we decided, and Chris's idea was to let's do it. By the way, I had told him if no one shows up, we're still going to do it. He laughed at me. I said, we're here to deliver something, and it's good to just work together. And we would have worked together, and we would have done role play and stuff like that. But we had that one person, so we decided, hey, after we got to know her, we decided let's do what we intended to do. Let's come up with a scenario where several people have to get together. Fortunately, another friend of ours showed up on the second hour. I don't know why she was coming in the second hour to begin with, because it's a 2 hour to begin. Well, it's only one class, it's not split up in two. Anyway, we grabbed her just as we were about to start and said, okay, jump in. This is truly improv. And so we come up with a scenario where we had this subject, which is going to be Chris, and the three of us actually had to use what we had as talents and put it all together for a session. And we did. And it was just so fun. And it worked out well. I don't know, that might be a little boring for some of you, but I want to say sometimes when you look at things and it looks like a failure, one person for a 2 hour, and it looks like a failure, then you got to make something out of it. You make lemonade from lemons or whatever you want to call it. So we did that. And I had another one that evening. That went spectacular. It was just an hour workshop. That went spectacular. But it was the next day. The next day was my baby. I hadn't done this workshop in its entirety like this ever. I've done lots of workshops on Ho'oponopono. Yes, I said the really magical word Ho'oponopono. Done a lot of workshops on that, but I hadn't done it this way. I hadn't done the meditation that I was going to do with a group of people. I hadn't done the history of Ho'oponopono, and I hadn't introduced all of my mentors and the people who have brought this to me. I hadn't done that, but for weeks I had been planning this, and I spent hours and hours and hours. So I was really, really juiced about this, and it's going to be the pinnacle of the conference for me, giving this. And they set us up in what was called a seminar room, which actually it's like a university seminar room where the seats go up and up and up. So we had people sitting at different rows, and we're on the bottom. We just had I don't know, 50-inch TV. So they didn't have the big screen anymore that was available. So, but we set up. I had brought some music. I had brought a speaker, and we get ready, and it was just so magical. It was like I took off. I don't remember parts of it that I was actually there and I was actually speaking and I was actually so passionate about it. It was the program was being downloaded to me. I had prepared it all, and it was just coming out without me thinking. It was just incredible. The energy was just incredible. This is the third day I was there. I had done a full day. I had done 2 portions, and it was the third day, and it was first thing in the morning. And I was a little worried going into this. It's early in the morning. I was tired, but I was on it. So how do we stay on it? How do we keep on going? how we keep on going, how we stay on the top of our game, how we keep the energy is we actually, I'm looking over there because I'm hearing this squirting and I'm wondering what's going on. It's our coffee maker. Um, how do we stay on it? How do we keep to the top of our game? Is we prepare, we envision. I had envisioned how I was going to do this 2 hour Ho'oponopono Hawaiian forgiveness thing. Talking about forgiveness and talking about letting go and really presenting it in such a way people are buying into it so they can start to change their lives. I envisioned that. I prepared. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And I was there. Matter of fact, the other classes beforehand where I wanted to get them through and I wanted to do what I the best I could because I knew I would bring that energy to this third one that I did. And it happened. So that's how you do it. That's how you stay on top. That's how you keep the energy. Is this desired thoughts, this burning desire. Napoleon Hill said, you want to get something, you think about it with a burning desire. I had the burning desire to actually fulfill my dream of presenting this the way I did. I practiced, I researched, I did everything. And it worked. It worked. It worked. Of course, I had to do a few other things. I actually have some things with breathing and a few other things that I bring the energy to. Right? I had a couple of songs that are very energetic for me. They had been anchored in my mind and in my brain 20 some odd years ago with when I went through Tony Robbins' university. It's a series of seminars, workshops that are just like rock concerts, of course. And there's a couple of songs, Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. Who would have ever thought I could actually pronounce that? I get knocked down, but I get back up. That is the verses in the song, and it's really, really good. And then Life by Hathaway. Life is changing. Life will never be the same again. Now, that term is often used in a negative way. When something happens, you say, oh, life is never going to be the same again. Why not think of it as a positive way? Life will never be the same again because it's going to be so much better. And that is what brought me to and brought me through this conference. And it was an outstanding conference. I've met so many friends that the connections were the biggest part of this. I mean, a lot of people I don't get to see in a whole year and just hardly talk to. And then it was just so phenomenal. The hugs, the greetings, the exchange of information, the exchange of love. It was just incredible. I became friends with some people I had just admired from before and didn't think, hey, they're at a different level. They won't have anything to do with me. Yes, I had limiting beliefs. We all do, and we all will, and I will in the future as long as I recognize them. Um, but I got over that. Get over that, and it worked. I am just hearing this. It's not the coffee maker, so I don't know what this noise is. As if it is foaming up for the nice frothy latte. That's what I'm hearing. Well, but it was incredible, and I took every connection, every greeting, every handshake, every hug seriously with gratitude. We were truly blessed to be there. The fact that we could be there, we could travel, and the fact that we could share our knowledge and our things to help other people, and we could actually gain from them as well. Staying on top means actually always being aware of the blessings because they're there all the time. We're just not aware of them. All right. I'll leave you with that. I want you to have the most incredible week you possibly can. A phenomenal week, as a matter of fact. I want you to do that. And you know, it's not because I want you to, it's because I know you can. I know you can make the choice and say, this is going to be fantastic. And it will be. All right. Till next week. Take care. Bye bye.